Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. Um, Happy Wednesday morning. Wow, it's already Wednesday. How is everybody? Good to see people coming in. Good morning. Good morning. I'll try not to be too loud and cheerful. Put my mic down a little bit. I don't want to scare anybody away. I hope you have your morning coffee or your afternoon tea if you're in the UK. Good to see you. So I saw Chad earlier. I don't have his message, but hey, Chado, hope you come back. Uh, Joe said hey to you too. And speaking of Joe Ducepo, I won't be able to catch this live as I'll be back to work after my lunch break. She's in the UK. But here's a message for you when you start. Marilyn, you are awesome. I look forward to seeing this on replay later. Thank you, Joe. You're so sweet. Love you, Joe. And my good friend Happy Chaos _ Peggy. Hey, Peggy. Good morning, Marilyn. I'm not feeling too well. Oh, I'm sorry. So I'm going to just listen as I lay here. Hopefully my stomach will settle. I hope you feel better. A lot of homework due today. Oh boy. Well, I'm not in school, but I can feel you because I've been doing a ton of stuff, paperwork, which I hate for the nonprofit, but I got a big board meeting tomorrow, so I know how that feels. Deadlines suck. I hope you feel better though, honey. George Massey. Hey, George. How are you? Good to see you. Good morning. Clearwater Claire the Taylor. Good morning, afternoon, and evening. Yes, wherever you are. If you're in Australia, it's evening. Good morning. And afternoon to you, actually, because you're in the UK as well. Happy chaos. It's only 7:30 here. Turn it down a little. Sorry, honey. I know. I'm loud. I'm a lot. I was one of those moms that would be like, "Good morning. Get up. Time to get up." And I start singing to my kids. I'd be like, "Oh, mom." Kadini, hey. Good morning. Brazil. Broken dishes. Oh my God. Good to see you. Hello. Great to see you. Michelle R., good morning. Finally caught alive this week. Yay. Been missing having tea with you all. Nice. Hope you have your tea. I've got coffee this morning. Got my little pottery cup. This is my second cup so far. You know how I love coffee because it's in the title. Yeah, so good to see everybody. And we'll wait for more people to come in. But yeah, so I put in the title, not as clickbait, just because I was just like blown away about Bijou and Danny Masterson and Bijou filing for divorce so soon because tomorrow marks the 2 weeks of since he was sentenced. So that's kind of quick. And I was just wondering what your opinions are about it. Why you think? I guess it was bound to happen, but why do you think it was so quick? And why do you think that she's doing it? I mean, do you think she's really, done with him? Because I mean, they do have a daughter together. Plus, she stood by her man up until the very end, so she was there at his sentencing and all the way to the sentencing. So I'm just curious what your opinions are on that. There's, some speculation that it's just basically about the money and the settlement that may occur with the lawsuit with the. Oh, sorry, I didn't mute my phone. Oh no. All right, got it. Yeah, so I'm just curious what everybody's opinion is about that. George Massey, I think it's a coordinated effort to protect his financial assets. Yeah, I mean, that's probably true because She probably was like, "I'm gonna divorce you, but not really. It's just so that, our child will be taken care of, and don't worry." Meanwhile, there's pictures of her with his brother that are, look a little bit suspicious, but maybe they're just really close. Well, I don't know about that. Michelle R. My husband says he's not surprised. What's she gonna do? Stay single for the rest of her life? That's that's another thought too, is that he's in jail for the rest of his life and a good part of her life, I'm sure too, and their child's life. So that would make sense. Peggy, I thought it was funny that she filed for quote spousal support. LOL. With what money? He won't be making any. Yeah, I wonder if he still gets like royalties. I mean, sure, he has plenty of assets. Plenty of assets. But yeah, that is a good point though, because as far as alimony and and all that, how is he gonna be paying that? He'd have to pay it out of his existing assets. But yeah, I mean, that makes sense because after the civil suit goes through, yeah, it may take a while, but she did not waste any time, did she? Nancy, hey Nancy. I think she's been instructed to do so, whether due to civil suits or Danny becoming declared. Yeah, that's another point. I've heard that thrown around too. But someone or something outside of her is behind it. I think you're right. I think you're right in the fact that she's also a Scientologist. Absolutely. I think it's definitely a consideration. And yeah, him being declared, what do you think about this? I mean, if he's declared, then that cuts him off from her, the child? I mean, hmm. And that cuts him off maybe possibly from his family. And yeah, I don't know. And also, I don't know how this would work, but if he could turn on Scientology if I'm sure he knows things that they don't want him to talk about. So I wonder if they would declare him for that reason, I wonder if they would be reluctant to declare him. Broken dishes, agree, asset protection. Yeah, that makes sense. Claire, regarding Bijou, I think it's planned by Scientology for the money, though her pics with the brother are sus. I suppose she can not go elsewhere because she is damaged through being with Danny to the end. So, yeah. Yeah, that does make her look bad, I'm sure. And as Aaron mentioned, she's not Lily White either. She has a pretty checkered past. I don't know the details, but yeah, I don't know. Peggy, I think it's a publicity stunt. Scientology's pulling the strings. Yeah, like they always do, don't they? They always do. George, like Aaron, I thought she'd wait until the appeal process was exhausted. Right? I mean, yeah, I wonder why she'd pull the trigger so soon. But, like the consensus I kind of agree with is that I think that she's being prompted by Scientology. And they call the shots in everyone's lives because they're a cult. That's the reason. They're a cult. Michelle R. Someone said it might be because he's about to be declared an SP, so she's starting the disconnection. Hmm. Yeah, that still makes me wonder if he would write a tell-all book. I mean, he couldn't get the royalties from it, but hmm, interesting. Then he'd probably have to admit to some stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Michelle, has anyone else heard about how she is an abuser as well? Yeah, I just mentioned about how Aaron had said something about that. Apparently, there are stories about her by her co-stars. Oh, interesting. This guy, I can hear you, honey. You're like rapping on something under your car. Hi, y'all. Just laying in the sun under a car. Yuck, yuck. Listening in to make it a little more fun. Oh, good. We'll try to entertain you, honey. Morning, morning, Sophia. Honey, why are you making the dog bark? I can hear him outside. So yeah, I was thinking about that this morning about Bijou and about her daughter and Danny and all that. And, one of the main reasons why we're talking about them is because they're celebrities. So they get a lot of airtime and limelight. And they're held up as an example, a good example or a bad example or both. And that's what I believe is that, it's not all black and white. It's like I'm sure there's good in everyone, except maybe Danny and the DMs. Anyone named DM? Just kidding, sort of. But as far as Bijou goes, I was thinking about like what would it be like to be her right now. You know, you wake up in the morning. If she's anything like me, she's got to go pee, right? And probably jump in the shower. And what does she think about in the shower? Like, probably think about, oh my God, what did I just do yesterday? Now everybody's talking about it. You know, she probably can't just go down to the grocery store and the bank and everything without paparazzi, stalking her. And she's got all of YouTube blowing up and news channels and everything discussing her life. And, but, but again, she's just a person. She's a person that got herself in a really bad situation, you know? And I do feel for her daughter. I do feel for um, the kids that didn't choose this, and they're gonna have a rough time of it. So I feel for the daughter, but I also feel for Danny Masterson's victims, and not just the two Jane Does that he was convicted for assaulting, um, but there's numerous. We all pretty much know that, so yeah, I mean, there's consequences, and unfortunately, the the family and friends, loved ones of somebody who did such horrific acts also, have to suffer as well, which is unfortunate, but it's also, um, you know, the way the way life is. And she had to decide what she wanted to do. Unfortunately, she probably was very much coerced by Scientology, and not only what she was going to do, what she was going to say, but when and how and why. So it's just awful. Broken dishes. Of course, this is also a good distraction from Ashton and Mila. Hmm, that's a good point. I haven't heard anybody bring that up yet. Yeah, that's probably true. Hey, Michelle. Good morning. Good morning. Nice to see you, honey. Glad you're here. Uh, Sophia, I mean, she had to act somehow. Right. Right. She guess she had to do something. Yeah. George Massey, bad situation. She pulled it in. Little sympathy for Bijou or Danny. Yeah, that's what they would say. She pulled it in. I mean, she's like we said before, she's not Lily White. Um, no, I don't have sympathy as far as the repercussions of their actions, especially Danny's. And, she chose to marry him. I think she knew very well what he was like, and she probably is also a recipient of his, evil abuse. But yeah, I was just thinking about, the human aspect of it is just, thinking about how she what she might be thinking today, or how she might be feeling. But you're right. I mean, I don't I don't use the pulled it in or the karma and all that, but yeah, I mean, there's consequences for your actions, right? So there's things that, just happen, but this didn't happen. This was definitely, someone's actions that were horrific and not necessary. Uh Lumi Dawa? Hi. Um, Vows are sickness or health, not stick with him if he's a violent. Yep, SO. Yep. Hmm. Think I would leave my man if he was yeah, absolutely. Just one sec. Yeah, I agree. And, she is now-ish, maybe it's just a a publicity stunt or just a front for just protecting assets, but she she stuck with him knowing very well what he had done. It was obvious, but again, she's probably a victim of it as well. So, you know, I don't know. I do have some compassion on her. It's not maybe really popular, but also, I mean, if she is a perpetrator as well, that's not good, and I don't make excuses for that. But, she is human and she's a mom. So, yeah, I think that it's not all black and white, but we wouldn't be talking about her if she wasn't famous, most likely. Liz Gal. Hi, hey Liz. I'm rooting for Bijou to leave Scientology, but it seems like the divorce is all money move. Yep, it is. It's very sad. It is sad. And what do you think, Liz? Did you think Scientology put her up to it as far as like the timing and all that? Do you think it's a distraction um, from Ashton and Mila? Or yeah, I'd be interested to see what your opinion of the timing is and who put her up to it. I was saying hi to I meant to click on this one. Hey, Cedar Duval. Hello, hello. Um, yeah, I think that there's the rare person that is trying to defend Danny like as if he was innocent. I mean, the evidence is so crystal clear in my opinion. And Scientology is definitely behind so many cover-ups, not just this one. So I really hope that more comes to light, and also the grand jury that has been convened to examine the civil case of all the fair gamings and the harassments of the Jane Does as well. So it's going to be a long, long haul, but I'm definitely rooting for the truth and for justice, right? I think we definitely all are. Grand Theft Hoopty, hey darling, great to see you. Good to see you. Nancy, I agree, Marilyn. Jane Doe 3 stuck with Danny for a few years. That's a good point. That's a good point. Bijou had to have suffered abuse as well. It will be interesting to see how all of this plays out. Yeah, I think she has a lot to lose by not doing what Scientology says. If they are behind why she's doing what she's doing now. Um, but yeah, I think that it will be interesting to see how it plays out. It's just so hard to speculate because you never know. I mean, it's like a chess game with Scientology. It's like they're just pawns. That's how I feel. I just feel like it's behind it is just a giant $3 billion evil maniacal cult. It's a cult. Sophia, she's protecting her assets and standing in Scientology with that move because he embarrassed Scientology and there is a civil suit coming. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder how much of a true believer she is. I mean, I'm sure she has to stand up for the church or whatever. She has to be on their side. But I mean, I haven't looked up her service records or I just be interested in all that too. Is I guess you don't really need to go up the bridge to be a quote devout Scientologist, right? Liz, if he's going to be declared, then maybe it's a Scientology move. But if her separating for herself, then I have some hope she's leaving. Oh, yes. That would be awesome if she did. But yeah, no, if he left, I wish I could just pop you on here. Let's ask you a bunch of questions. if he left, or no, if she left Scientology and spoke out, then she would lose her connections in her family, right? I mean, she's pretty much um like entrenched in it, right? And I was thinking if they declared Danny, everybody would have to disconnect from him, and at that point, what would he have to lose? I mean, he might, even though he wouldn't get money for it, he could write a tell-all book, although he'd have to probably admit, I'm thinking out loud here, he'd have to admit to his crimes. But yeah, interesting. It's all so much. Claire, sorry, Liz, I do not believe she will ever leave. That that will be why she has moved on to the brother now. Yeah, that's another thing. Hmm. I wonder. Liz, as long as she's surrounded by his Scientology family as her support system, I can't see her leaving. Yeah. Yeah. So it could just be, you know, a show that they're just trying to protect their assets and they're just, you know, digging in. Hey, Cedar. Good to see you. Liz, I did a deep dive look into Bijou last year on TikTok. Oh, we'll have to look that up. I had hundreds of comments hating on Bijou. She hasn't been a nice person, but I hope she can find strength to protect her daughter. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I'll save that for a little bit later. But yeah, something else I've been kind of, pondering about as people come out of Scientology, you know, and they start to speak out, they it's like how much should you or can you forgive about things that they did before? You know what I mean? Whether it was as a Scientologist or just as a person that did something really bad, you know, does that does that color your view of their story? Is their story still valid? You know, it's just an interesting thing to think about, you know? Um, Cedar, I really hope Bijou can get help, at least for the sake of her daughter. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. Totally agree with that. Broken dishes. Bijou's father, John Phillips, was a yeah, you guys can read that. um, not making excuses, but probably helped make her vulnerable to Danny as well as becoming an alleged abuser herself. Yeah, I agree with that. Because abusers often, become abusers unless they seek help or they really come to terms with it and stop the cycle. I agree with that. Veronica, hey, good morning, Veronica. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Cedar, I was forced to stay in my abusive marriage by Scientology in my early 20s. Yeah, it's like that in a lot of, well, I don't really call Scientology religion, but technically it is, I guess. Yeah, totally. I've seen that so many in Christianity, certain churches, I'm not saying all of Christianity, but Catholic circles too. It's really, really hard to get, quote permission by the church to have a get a divorce, and especially in really fundamental um, sex and SECT meaning and JW too. Yeah, Claire. Though to play the devil's advocate, what if she was being so coerced to stay by his family, and that is why the pics with the brother? I would be interesting in hearing her side. Would be interested in hearing her side. Well, hopefully someday we will. Hopefully we will. And if she does if she does leave Scientology and starts to speak out, she's putting her neck on the line because they're gonna dig up anything and everything. They pretend to be your friend and all for you and stick up for you. If you speak out, all bets are off, right? You know? They convinced me it was my fault. I am like, oh, yeah, yeah. You pulled it in or you did something. Yeah. It's It's wild how different religions have the same way of saying the same horrible thing. Because for in my call, it was, you know, God was judging you because you were rebellious or in sin. Or sometimes it was like, well, you know, they have to work out like the husband, the whole patriarchal thing, like, oh, well, the husband is your authority, so he can just basically abuse you. And it's, you have to have a gentle and quiet spirit, and God will honor that. And it's like, really? I don't think so. Mm-mm. Sophia, if she didn't leave after what her father did, something big would have had to happen for her to leave. Yeah, because I think you just get used to abuse. I mean, it's like a any DV situation. You know, it's it takes a lot. It takes a lot for them to leave. Aurora, hey Aurora. It seems like a money thing to me. She wants her money before a bunch of it disappears in the civil suit. Yep. Yeah. I mean, how much money is enough though? Because you know, what do you put on what price do you put on all these women who had their lives destroyed, and maybe for a long time, and everything that they've gone through, and having their pets poisoned, and having all this harassment, not to mention, and that's just because they spoke out and they filed charges, not to mention all the abuse that they had before that, right? And I get it. Bijou has a daughter with Danny. She wants to protect her daughter, but I feel, like I said earlier, I feel for the daughter, but I also feel for the victims. So, and yeah, I guess she wants to keep up the the lifestyle that to which you're accustomed, you know. But yeah, I'll just leave that. I'll just leave that right there. Yeah, this is what I was wondering. Her family are not Scientologists, right? As far as I know, the Phillips aren't. Yeah, I didn't think they were, but I was wondering if she has such a tight, knit circle that she feels like she can't afford to lose her support system. But like Liz Gale pointed out, um, she is close with Danny's family, and they're all Scientologists. So Cindy Funk, hey, good morning, Marilyn, from the Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri. Hey, Cindy, good to see you. Good to see you. I think I'm getting a little bit behind, but Joni, good morning, Joni. So good to see you, honey. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for getting up with me, guys. I'm working on my second cup of coffee here. What's everybody drinking? It is 5 o'clock somewhere, probably, right? Maybe Australia. I'm not sure. I lost my job over being a degraded being for being abused. Oh, so that makes me somewhat sympathetic to Bijou. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a lot of different emotions. Peggy, to Liz, I love that you're so compassionate, even though you know what Scientologists can be like. Yeah, I know. If anyone knows, oh my God. Yeah, it is. It is amazing to me. Well, I mean, I guess I'm not surprised because I've gotten to know so many of the second gens, and Liz is the only third gen I know. But yeah, it is so wonderful that they are able to have compassion, maybe because they didn't internalize it as much, and they're just good people. But the first generation, that their parents, right, just seem to have been so like self brainwashed and conditioned, and then allowed the church to do it, that they're just willing to give up their kids for it. And the second gens, they're like they love their parents still after all of the shit that they went through and all the abuse they suffered. And now extending it to someone like Bijou, so I agree. I think that's awesome. Um Veronica, in my opinion, I feel that the divorce was Scientology directed because TMZ was the first to report. TMZ is in Scientology's pocket, big time. I've heard that, but I didn't think about that. Hmm. Cedar, I'm so happy and blessed now. I'm so glad. I'm so glad for you. Yeah, isn't it great not to be in a cult? Great day not to be in a cult every day. Liz, sometimes a child can bring the mama bear out of us when we didn't before. Yeah, that is a good point. I can so relate to that. Bijou was emancipated at 14 years old and was in the foster system. She may decide to be a good mom after all. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful point, and I hope, and I can relate to a lot of that. Um, being in the foster system myself, and well, I ran away at 16, but the mama bear instinct is really what saved me, saved my life. I always say that it was my kids that saved my life, and maybe in Bijou's case, I really hope so. I really, really hope so. Claire, it's about how they act when they come out. Just think about Mike Render, his change from in and then now. Yes, I was listening to him this morning, and I was thinking about that because it's something that's been sort of on my mind. And I was just like, I have no doubt that Mike has done a complete 180, and he's so sincere and at such great cost to himself, but also he's just such an awesome person, and he's what I think would be defined by like John Atack as I'm not sure where John got it, but as a weaponized empath. That he is a decent person that was just basically trafficked as a kid from Australia, put on the boat, and conditioned until he was 52 years old. Yeah, so right, Claire. Everyone has the chance to turn their lives around. Absolutely, I agree with that. I agree with that. Gail, Bijou wouldn't be the first to repeat mistakes and date a man like her own father, but to survive what she has makes her tough, in my opinion. She might be redeemable, and I hope so. I'll be there for her. If so, I know you will. I know you will, Liz. Absolutely. I'm going to star some of these so I don't lose them, but I don't want to get so far behind the chat. Broken dishes, hoping she can break the generational abuse cycle for her child as well as herself. Right, because that little girl, I'm sure, has seen and heard things. I know she has, I'm sure. And yeah, if she can be protected if Bijou, breaks the cycle and gets her away from that destructive cult and all of its minions. All right, sorry, I'm just going down the line here. I'm flying solo. Theater. I have faith in all humans being able to find for some form of redemption. However, there are many crimes that have to be atoned for as well. Balance. Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. Yep. There's consequences for actions, right? Oh, did I see somebody? There she is. Good morning. I got my 2 Liz's, so all is well. Good morning, sweetheart. Man, you Liz's get up early. You West Coast girls. West Coast girls. Mhm, 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 mhm. All right. Hey Oz Brumby. Question: why would Bijou divorce a Scientologist in good standing? This is shady. Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation. So we've been going for about a half hour now. We've gotten a lot of good input, and the Liz's are here. I'm sure Liz Gale's already weighed in, but um, Liz Ferris and Nora did a really good stream last night. If you want to catch that replay, but yeah, he's in good standing now, I guess, but maybe not. Maybe not for very long. We'll see. Yeah, it's very interesting. Did I see Chad pop in? I think I did. There he is. Hey, Chad. Good morning, bro. Good to see you. Mm. Thank you. I don't know. I don't forget the words. Oh, I just something about being tan. They always look so tan. Although I don't know about that. Oh, thanks, Chado. You're a sweetheart. Evelyn, good to see you. Hello. Oh, she's saying hi to Chad, but I'm just popping up things as I see them. Claire, Liz Gale, you remind me why I am compassionate when it seems beyond my ability due to some people's acts. Yeah, I know it is. It is tough, and sometimes I think that I know that I've come to the conclusion that it doesn't feel good to just always be negative and not have compassion and just being always like so hard on people because um I don't like that feeling people are hard on me. Plus, it doesn't feel good to always just be constantly judging people. So, you do have to judge, black and white situations. If there's, abuse and crime, that's cut and dry. But someone who is seeking, some type of redemption, they feel like they want to make amends or they want to change their life. I'm all for that. I'm all for second chances and people getting a new lease on life if they do come clean about their past if they need to, because yeah, there's consequences. Absolutely. Everyone's saying good morning to Chad. We've got some celebrity rock stars of our own in here. I was talking about Bijou and Danny being celebrities. We've got the Lizzes, Chad. I think you're all rock stars in my book. I love seeing you all here. Definitely. Aurora, yes. Got so tired of feeling like I had to judge everyone. I know. When I was in the cult, I was just it's so weird being able to say that to you guys because like I don't just go out to lunch and be like, yeah, when I was in the cult, like I can't talk like that. I'm really like, what are you talking about? But yeah, so when I was in the cult, I didn't even like to go to like a family party or anything because when I got back, I would be like pretty much interrogated, like, "Oh, who was there? And what did they say? And what did they do? And and what do you think about that? Do you think they have a demon of this or spirit of that?" Or and it's saying like they have like Leviathan, a spirit, evil demon spirit of Leviathan in them, or Acan or Jezebel. I'm like, oh my God, can I just go have some potluck without all this having to judge people and report back? Just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Yeah, it just wears you down, you know? Yeah, I'm not sure what. people are talking about women wearing pants is probably a different call. I don't think Scientology has that, but I love how compassionate you all are to each other too. This is such an awesome community. Definitely. Definitely. Cedar, I feel so lucky to be here with you all. The Liz's, Chad, Marilyn, who am I missing? Missing you. All of you. Lucky to be here with all of you. Pat, oh, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, it is funny to be, talking about these celebrities, but also keeping in mind that they are humans. I mean, they're none of us are exempt from anything that can happen to normal people can happen to a celebrity and vice versa, you know. So, but I am just really, thinking about the whole trying to think of the whole picture here, and it all to me all goes back to this driving force behind all of these terrible scandals and family breakups and abuse is a human trafficking cult and a quote fake religion that has destroyed families and is still being here, yeah, human, and in a horrendous cult, right, right. And I can't help but think that in 20 years ago, maybe more than 20 years ago, when the first report was written, the knowledge report to the ethics officer about what Danny had done, if she had been, quote, allowed to go to the Jane Doe, allowed to go to law enforcement, then maybe some women would have been saved from this, these horrendous acts. So I don't know as far as what the you know what the next steps are going to be, except for, well, of course, all the civil suits and everything. But I know so many of us have asked, like, what can we do? What can we do? Well, right now is we're talking about it. We're keeping the conversation going. We're speaking out, and we're lending support to people that are in the forefront, like Mike and Leah and of the former, Sea Org members, the Jane Does, Aaron, everyone, all the ex-Scientologists who have come forward, Liz with her new book, just so many. And so we can, we're never ends, but we're allies. And I always think about this when I see, the numbers of Aaron's subscribers going up and up and up. And it's awesome that he's over 200,000 now. So that's 200,000 people subscribed to growing up in Scientology. It means they're interested in it. It means that they're watching it. It means that they're taking in this information and they're spreading it to their friends, their family, their coworkers, their kids and grandkids and whoever we can warn, right? So I think that it's a movement. It is. It's just gaining momentum. Oh, gee, sorry about that. I'm gabbing so much. I'm just starting some things so I hopefully don't miss anything. But something that I was also thinking about, and I just giggle because I get like, I don't know, it's just so ridiculous. Sometimes I'm just like, this is crazy. But you take you take Scientology, right? And you think of just one thing that is like crazy about it or just abusive or just whacked out about it, and multiply that times like 1,000. It's like, I feel like I would love to see a list of all the things that people have come out and said, ex-Scientologists have said about Scientology, just in kind of short bullet point form, you know, like they abuse the elderly. They take out credit cards in their name, and once they die, blah blah blah. Okay, they audit and sec check children, all the things against children, all the things against, and I mean, they're all the whacked out words that they twist, like reasonable is bad, and it's just I can't I get all I get all like, "Roar," but um it's rotten to the core. It's just they're a business. That's it. That's the other thing too. The Supreme Court came out and said that Scientology should not be tax exempt because they are a business. They charge a certain amount of money for services. It's a quid quo pro, or whatever you say, quid pro quo, or what, yeah, quid pro quo. That's it. So yeah, but then the IRS, because they were pressured, they gave them the tax exempt status for the very reason that they shouldn't have given them the tax exempt status. So, yeah, I think that there is momentum. I don't think there's a lot of things that we can necessarily do. I mean, we definitely can write to our congressman. It kinda takes a little bit of effort. There is a link, which I will get a hold of and start posting that too. Um, I think it's like $3.99 to plug in your information, and they send a postcard to your representative. They figure out, where you live and all that, and send it, regarding the IRS, tax exempt status. And, I mean, I don't know, like those online things, I know, like, the George Floyd online petition, it was like change.org or something. I know it doesn't really hold any water as far as legal, as far as Congress and all that, but it's not nothing. I mean, I guess it couldn't hurt to do that. There was like 8 million signatures on that. And of course, there were a lot of other things going on too. A lot of marches. I mean, I marched myself, just not in a political way, but just, you don't like seeing people abused. That's all. I don't get political here, but I'm just saying we're all human. We have compassion. So that's what I have to say about that. But yeah, I mean, there's just I'm glad that the outrage is building, and that's really what it takes. Mike Render has said that a lot about the civil rights movement. Is it didn't happen overnight, and it took a while, and it still is going on. There's things that shouldn't be, not to use a Scientology phrase, but no, taking that back, because they don't own things that shouldn't be. Well, they do, because they shouldn't be. Sorry, I'm rambling, guys. I got some start things I'll bring up. Let's see. I think I already read a few of these. Aurora. When I was growing up, we had a good family friend who was forced to stay in an abusive marriage by her church. I was 27 when she finally had the courage to leave. Yeah, there's thousands, hundreds of thousands of cases like that. It does often take a while, and they need a soft landing place, right? And a lot of encouragement. Michelle R. I have compassion for people and try to see the good in everyone, but I have to say I'm often disappointed. I love my husband and all the animals and like 3 or 4 people, and of course, all of you. Thanks, Michelle. We love you too. Excuse me. Mm. Oh, so dry in here. It's fall. Fall, y'all. Yep. The leaves are starting to turn. It's gonna be really pretty here, though. It's gonna start to. I love the fall foliage in Vermont. Candy. Okay, Duchess Diana. She has over 800 pieces. So in there and there can't be too many Dianas. 800 peeps. Must be somebody's channel. Not my channel, but that's okay. I'm very happy with the 30 people I have right now. I love you guys. Absolutely. And yeah, you're our Diana. You're our Duchess Diana. Um, Joni comments, as someone who has been in the gray area of Mormonism, that's interesting. Yeah, I like that. I have seen the abuse. I actually thought I was hearing ex-Mormons and not ex-Scientologists. Yeah, it's similar, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. There are a lot of gray areas and levels of different religions. And, you know, I the more I'm learning about Mormonism, the more I would definitely say that it's culty and its beginnings are suspect. But, I don't try not to run around being like every major religion, like, oh, that's a cult, that's a cult, that's a cult. I don't believe that. But I do think that it's worth looking at the different religions and their origins and their practices, you know. Um, Shalice's story, Shalise from Cults to Consciousness, she was a quote mainstream Mormon, and some of the things they put her through were not okay. Not okay at all. I need coffee, Duchess Diana. Yes, get yourself some coffee. I hope I'm not too loud for you guys. Oh, this is a good point, Sophia. Not informing family of deaths to claim their inheritance or telling family someone is dead. That's insane. Telling family someone's dead that isn't, or not telling people like Norman Starkey. He's been gone for what, 4 years? Yeah, just found out. That's insane. Crazy. Duchess Diana comment. Many of us are interested in look at how people can get into these kinds of cults, but we should also look at how crazy it is that the cult evolved to be what it is. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And that's something that I think about a lot. And when I did, and I'm still probably going to do some more, been doing a lot of lives, but I did that little series when I first started my channel a couple months ago on the Cult Leaders Toolbox. And if you go on my channel and the homepage on my channel, it's listed under videos. I think that's the first thing that pops up. But I started with, I'll give it away, Jim Jones, and the tactic that I brought up for him was establishing credibility, because that's usually one of the first things that a cult leader will do is they'll try to know something that you don't, and they will act very legit and they'll sound legit and they'll look legit and they'll do legit things at first, but it's so true that you look at the roots of it, and he was Pentecostal. Now, I don't go around saying all Pentecostals are in a cult. All Pentecostal churches are in a cult. I will go as far as to say I think that Pentecostalism is culty, and I think that a lot of Pentecostal churches have become breeding grounds for potential cult leaders, charismatic. The Pentecostalism, a lot of the charismatic churches are Pentecostal, and vice versa. There's also fundamentalism, which gets a little less charismatic and a little more oppressive / legalistic. Although my church was kind of both, but yeah. But yeah, the focus on the anointing and the gifts of the Spirit and all that makes it very easy for someone to come up and say, God told me this, I am a prophet, I have revelations, I have secrets to the universe, and you should follow me. And it is it is like, the proverbial frog that's boiled in the water. It sounds great at first. And the cognitive dissonance starts to kick in. And, you think of these people that followed Jim Jones from Indiana to California, and then eventually to Guyana. Guyana? Yeah, so it didn't happen overnight, it was literally decades, and meanwhile, he's getting all this approval from other, very high up, like, politicians and, um, and city officials and other clergymen that were highly respected. So, it when people say, "Oh, how could they? How could they?" I kind of understand it. And I even, as a parent that unfortunately allowed my kids to suffer some pretty awful experiences in the cult, I can understand that. Although I always say for it. And I am grateful that we got out when we did. And not to plug all my videos, but I did do a live stream with my daughter Haley last week on Friday. It it's called uh from cult kid to free thinker. She's definitely a free thinker, and I think you guys would love her if you haven't met her already. Um, I love how you all just, you know, really support each other. I love that. Yes, thank you, Cindy. If you could hit the like button, that would be awesome. And if you haven't subscribed, that would be great too. I really, really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Carla. Hey, Carla. Welcome. Yeah, my oldest daughter's father is Pentecostal. I knew I didn't want anything to do with it. Yeah, it is different. It's something. It's something. Yeah. A lot of people are really it's funny how some people are just like, "Oh my god, this is crazy. I don't want anything to do with it." And other people are like, it can give you that kind of like feeling of, wow, this is just so amazing. Like that kind of hit a dopamine. Everybody seems, keyword, seems so happy and fulfilled. And, God is coming in and touching them and they're dancing and they're just having a great time. It's like being at a rock concert. And some of them are like rock concerts, like the Hillsong services and stuff like that. So yeah, some people are repelled by that, and some people are drawn to it. Oh, thank you, Joni. Marilyn, your daughter is as beautiful as you are. Thank you, sweetheart. She is a beautiful person. I'm very fortunate. She's so much fun. When we left here, we had to kind of scramble because I think we came on at 10 and then we had to leave by 12 to go an hour away to get her car oil change. So we took separate cars and followed each other and dropped her car off. And then we went to lunch at Kodo, the what Kodo is, right? Like sushi and all that. And they do the hibachi thing with the guy with the knives and he puts on a show. Well, it was like the middle of the day. It was, like 12:30 on a Friday, but even though it was kind of empty, Haley was like, just thought she'd ask. She's very bold. She's just like, "Hey, could we sit at the hibachi?" And they were like, "Sure." So we go in that big room with all the hibachis and all these chairs, and it was completely empty. Well, this young, chef came out and he did the whole thing for us. So here we are, like noon. My daughter, she's so much fun. Like I think we're gonna go to karaoke tonight, or we're gonna go open mic or something. But yeah, so he was like squirting. I mean, it's like the middle of the day. He's like squirting sake in our mouth. He's doing the whole show. He's lighting everything on fire. So we had a blast. We drank Mai Tais. And I was like, okay, just one because I can't. With all that sake, we got to drive. We still have to drive home in an hour. So, yeah, and Reese would be proud. We went to Home Goods and TJ Maxx while we were there. While I was in town out of the holler, right? Yeah. So she's always so much fun, just stirring some things. Hey, Joel, good to see you. Marilyn, your daughter was always a free thinker. She was born that way, my 2 cents. Oh, absolutely. I think I told y'all her first complete sentence was, I not cooperating, she meant, "I'm not cooperating with daddy." And guess what? Yeah, she still isn't. But that's okay, we love her. She doesn't have to anymore. Cat Andy, "Hey, Cat." Morning, SBs. Good morning, Cat Andy. George, Haley equals mini Marilyn, no crochet doll. I gotta, as soon as I finish this paperwork for the nonprofit, I gotta get back to crocheting, and I haven't forgotten about you, George. Oh, I know, I have such a list, and I look forward to it. It's relaxing, but I have to, like, kind of push everything aside, and I've been, helping out with some modding at night, uh, helping Goldie a little bit. I don't know how much help I am because I kinda suck at it, honestly. I'm not a good mod. But just to kind of be there. So, I'll try to crochet, but then I get really into chatting with people, or I'm like so afraid I'm gonna like, miss a troll, and then I don't want Goldie to have to worry about it. So yeah, I gotta get back to crocheting. Michelle R. Jim Jones was something of a hero here in San Francisco. He was a civil rights activist and people were impressed by him. I actually know people who didn't make the plane to Guyana. Wow. Yeah. Mm. Um, I'm trying to remember her name. It was a beautiful African American lady. I'm sure you know who she is, Michelle, because she's a captain. She's a law enforcement officer, and she was on the Aftermath, um, not talking about Jonestown, but talking about law enforcement and cults. And she did an amazing episode of the Fair Game podcast with Leah and Mike. And I swear I listened to, even though it's so hard to listen to because it's just gut wrenching, but I listened to it like probably 3 times. I listened to him probably 2 or 3 times by myself, and then I sat Duncan down. I'm like, "You have to listen to this podcast." And oh, yeah. Oh my god. It was just, and she described so well how her family got into it, how, her father was supposedly healed by Jim Jones, and just the slow, process of how she ended up in Guyana and how she got out. It's just, she should write a book, but I wish I could remember her name. Yolanda? Is it Yolanda? Somebody already read it? Yeah, Yolanda, I think her name was. But I would totally recommend that episode of the Fair Game podcast too. Absolutely. Just going through some start. I'm not sure what this was in reference to, but feeling of belongingness is definitely something that I think we all have, and is one of the reasons why people can be duped by a cult. You know? Duchess Diana, I read a post about a gal who has decided for laughs to start a cult. She called it the No Religion Cult. She posted posters and ultimately uh, freaked herself out due to the results. I believe it. Yeah, that's interesting. Huh. Yeah, it is. It is fascinating study, you know. A little sad too, but Candy's life. Anyone who lives near the Celebrity Center should start a regular karaoke Saturday night outside the church. Yeah, I wish I wasn't what 3,000? How many thousands of miles away? I'm always up for karaoke. Always up for it. Joni Cummings, you're great. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Appreciate that. I'm just kind of there as a backup. I do try to post a few links, but um yeah, the main reason why I offered is because I'm sort of an insomniac, and poor Goldie, I wanted to be able to sleep at night once in a while, you know? So, yeah. Um, I'm sorry, the dead air. I could start singing, but you don't want that. You don't want that. Oh, right. I can't remember her name either. She was on a documentary on Netflix. Oh, I think it's Yolanda. Yeah. I know she was definitely on an episode of Fair Game Podcast, and she did something about law enforcement in, the on the Aftermath show, the Leah Remini Scientology. Was it Leah Remini Scientology in the Aftermath? Remember the official title. Uh, Joel, on a different subject, I gave a seminar yesterday for rescue groups, helping them to do outreach slash fundraising. There were people from cat slash dog as well as bird and lizard there. There are groups for all animals. That's awesome. That's great, Joel. So whatever your love, there's a group for you. Volunteer, help how you can. You'll find it very rewarding. Absolutely. You are an inspiration, Joel. You definitely are. I love your updates, Joel. Keep them coming anytime you can. That's amazing. Thank you for all you do. Yeah. This must be about Yolanda. I remember that story. It was really hard to listen to, but worth it. Yeah, absolutely. It was just wild. I think I have watched every documentary. Every time Jonestown was mentioned, I've watched it. Just because I think it is a really fascinating study, and not in a not fascinating as like, ooh, this is, like, I mean, maybe a little bit of that, because I think everybody has that kind of like, what do you call it, like rubbernecking kind of thing, like, you know, you're just curious, and you're like, oh wow, like, but also just to help me deconstruct and understand some of what I went through, even though, of course, my cult didn't meet that end, but it didn't start out that way. So it is really interesting to go through the Heaven's Gates and the Jonestownses and the Waco situation, your Branch Davidians. It definitely is worth it. Don't forget to buy Goldie a coffee. That's right. You know what, guys? Let me see if you don't mind me fumbling around a little bit and kind of taking up some time. I will look for the link and I'll post it for you. How's that? If anyone wants to buy Goldie a coffee, that would be amazing. Sorry about my goofy face. Trying to find it. Somebody can test it to see if it works. Did it work? I think it posted. Goldie's buy me a coffee. Did it post? Yes. Okay. Hopefully it goes to the right place. She definitely deserves it. I'm still not over Jonestown. Yeah. Yeah, there were some in the 70s, and that was in the 70s, and there were some other kind of crazy cults. Yeah, it did work. Okay, good. There were some other kind of crazy, terrible cults in the 70s. And then I'm sure there were some in the 80s, but the 90s, it's almost like it skipped a generation, the really horrific ones. Because I was in a cult then, all of the 90s and most of the 2000s. But yeah, there was, what was it, 93 was Waco, and Heaven's Gate was 97. So those were two really big ones. Joni, I'm still freaked out about, yeah, about Waco. Yeah, me too. Absolutely. And I think Waco was pivotal in some ways good, in some ways bad um, for the cause of, the anti-cult movement that we're seeing now. It because of the what do you call that? The tobacco and firearms. Okay. Anyways, that acronym. Because of that and all of the mistakes that were made during the Waco siege, right? That now it's and the Ruby Ridge thing and all that. Now it just seems like the FBI and government, does not want to touch anything with a 10-foot pole that has anything to do with religions or cults, you know. And it's just not good because there's so many abuses that are being allowed to happen because of that, because of the mistakes that were made in Waco. Now it's just like, okay, hands off. And that's not good either. So I don't know why humans and governments just just seem to go to one extreme or another, you know. It's either let's go in and just, obliterate everything and everybody, or let's just let it. Let's just turn a blind eye to it, you know. Joni, I was 11 at the time it happened. Waco? You talking about Waco? I would have been in my 20s. Yeah. 22, 23. Mm. Thank you, Michelle. Really, I feel like the elder statesman here. I was in my 20s. I was too. I was too. And actually, I got married the year that, trying to think what month that was, the Heaven's Gate happened. And of course, I'm in a cult, right? And they're like, oh, look at that cult. Oh, that was a cult. Oh my God. Little did I know I was in one too. And while we weren't, drinking Flavor Aid or eating pudding, very similar. Very similar. Extremists on both ends. It's unfortunate that more nuance doesn't exist. Thank you, Paul. Yep, you're right. Yeah, you guys have a way better way of saying. I don't. You guys should be up here, not me. I'm just like, and then, yeah, that really sucks, doesn't it? But you say it in such a good way. Thank you, Aurora. My mother said that Waco was proof that the government is coming after religious people. Scary then and now for different reasons. Yeah, and that's, that is definitely consideration. So again, balance, right? Because you can't just give something like Scientology a free license to abuse thousands of people under the banner of religion. So it's just so frustrating. Yeah, ATM. Okay, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that on YouTube, like the actual all those words, but I did. Oh well. Oh well. Oh yes, yes, Joel. Do any of you remember the Moonies? That was, maybe still is, a really not. It is, and it's still going. It's the Unification Church. Actually, Stephen Hassan or Hassan, however you pronounce it, um, he's been on so many cult podcasts and documentaries and pretty much everything. He wrote the I am losing it today about mind control, the book about mind control. I forgot the name of it. But yeah, something about that. He developed the bite model. He went and got his doctorate in, not sure exactly what the doctorate's in, but his thesis was on the bite model, behavior, information, thoughts, and emotion control, you know. So yeah, he was a Mooney. He came from this very, upper middle class Jewish family, was just a nice college boy, and some girls flirted with him. He was sad because his girlfriend had broken up with him. He started hanging out with these chicks. He thought they were nice and they were cute, and they said that they were college kids, but they weren't, and plucked him out of college. They went, well, I don't know if he finished college. I kind of feel like he didn't, but he ended up joining the Moonies. He went to some retreat, got pretty much, conditioned, brainwashed, and then you know, semi-controversial, but I guess his parents paid some deprogrammers to help get him out of it, which, yeah, did help him. But there's, Extreme Beliefs, I believe it's called, with I think it's Elizabeth Vargas. She did a really good series on does anybody in the chat know? Is it Netflix? Is it the same one we're talking about here? Extreme Beliefs series on Netflix about cults. There's one about cult leaders, but the one that she did was actually the first time I'd heard about, Nexium and Sarah well, I'd heard about it, but I hadn't really known exactly what it was about. But, they did 2 episodes on the Unification Church, if I'm not mistaken, which is Moonies. And, yeah, I don't know how much I can say on here about, their practices, but they're scary. There's, like, militias involved and everything. It's really bad. Jane. Hey, Jane. Hey, Jane, we still gotta get together, honey. Um, Heaven's Gate really blew me away because they so willingly chose to leave their lives. It made me examine my beliefs in the commune I was in at the time. Yeah, yeah. Seeing those videos at the end and even, yeah, Nichelle Nichols, her brother, looked just like her, I think. Yeah, they were just blank. They all kinda looked the same, talked the same. But again, that didn't happen overnight, right? I mean, it's the the documentary I saw on that was just so telling. It was very, very interesting. I could just see a lot of parallels and a lot of cults that I've seen. Of course, again, when people that's why when I did the cult leaders toolbox, I tried not to reveal the cult leader or the cult that I was talking about right away, because as soon as you bring up Heaven's Gate, you think of the spacesuits and the aliens and the UFO they're waiting for, that, do re mi fa to all that, the haircuts, but it didn't start that way. So yeah, it was interesting how it. Oh, the new one is How to Be a Cult Leader. Yeah, yeah, I have seen most of that. Yeah, yeah, I'm sure I did. I did get some things out of it. Some of it was kind of recycling stuff I've seen a billion times, so, but yeah, it was good. I'm glad they did it because they did one on how to become a dictator. That was super interesting too. Very a lot of similarities, but not for the faint of heart. I that was hard to watch, the dictator one. That was tough. From a poet, "Hey, hey, Brian, how are ya?" Uh, oh, I called you Brian, that's funny. I usually call you Poet. Hey, Poet. I'm so excited. I think I'm so excited and I just can't hide it. Um, I'm about to get your book and I know I'm gonna like it. So if I'm even singing to you, you're probably like, oh, I just woke up. Shut up, Marilyn. I'm excited for you though. Poet has a book out. I no, if I knew if I knew I would have had that link handy. I don't think this computer doesn't have the same stuff. Oh, I'm jealous. I got my book, Poet. Yeah, I ordered Steve-O and I have this, like, competition going. We're like bratty siblings, right? And I think I ordered mine Sunday, and it says it's gonna be here Friday, and he ordered his Monday, and he's getting his today. And I was just like, "Wow." And he said, "That's what you get for living in the holler." So, yeah, that's what I figured that's what you meant. And we already know you got your book. And I'm starting to read the rest of it, Liz, I promise. I like reading it out loud and doing voices. Like, I can't sound like you, but I can make faces. Oh my god, you guys, you have to see Liz's new TikToks about Bijou and, Annie Masterson. Oh my god. The faces, her facial expressions are so funny. I love it. I'm starting to really like, those little shorts. I don't think I could do those. I mean, I don't know what I'd do, but I like watching them. Um I'm just stirring a couple things because things are starting to fly by. Your face is yeah, it's like there's this stuff going in the background. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And she's just like, okay, I can't do it, but she's like really, like it's like you don't even have to say anything, Liz. It's just your face, your facial expressions. You're like, God, I love it. I think there was one where I forgot what they were somebody was some jerk was saying or something. You're just like, "Oh, me? Like, you're talking to me?" It's great. Like, I'm so offended. It was so awesome. Sorry, I wanna make sure I didn't miss I'm sure I missed some. Sorry about that, guys, but I've got some to put up. Um Goldie lost her job. Every coffee helps. Yes. If you can buy Goldie a coffee, that would be amazing. And I did put it in the chat. I think it's probably if you scroll up, you should find the link somewhere. I think. Yeah, I think it's there. Hopefully it works. I copied it. I can probably copy it again. Let's see. See if that works. Okay. Duchess Diana. Oh, I remember a great movie called The Wave about a teacher who does an experiment with his high school kids. Excellent. The Wave. Yeah, those are fascinating. Those I mean, some of them are kind of mean, but yeah, those are really interesting. There's just some that are even sort of funny, like those social experiments where somebody will go like enter an elevator and everybody is faced towards the back of the elevator and the guy's just like looking back so he just kind of turns around, looks at the wall like everybody else. Yeah, it's just wild, really wild how human behavior is fascinating. Joel McCoyne, Waco was in 1993. I was working at a daily newspaper then. I didn't know that about you, Joel. I remember the first day of the siege, and it went on for a long time. It did. I can't remember how many days, but of my 25 years in the newspaper business, that is a story I remember. I believe it. Yeah. Yeah, they recently did another documentary on it, and, like I said about a lot of them, it's like, not that I knew everything, but, they're doing a new documentary, it's like, well, I didn't really learn a lot of new stuff, but I did learn a lot of new stuff from that, and it was interesting. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Love you too, honey, and Goldie loves you too, I'm sure. Um, yeah, I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah, it was interesting that they had some people that were still 25 years later or 30 years later now, it's been 30 years, um, still kinda mentally in, if that's a thing. I don't know if you can be for that, but does Buy Me a Coffee take a percentage? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I know it if it does, it's very minimal. It's probably like, Venmo, just like a couple percentage points, but yeah. Yeah, so that's a good thing. Yeah, I was joking yesterday that, I had 1 tissue left, that I'm out of tissues, so my husband posted, "We need to make you, buy me a Kleenex instead of a buy me a coffee." Although I do like coffee too. So, but please buy Goldie a coffee. She needs it. Um, yes, Marilyn, the one with the inside camera is scary. I've been so all over I've been talking about so much that I'll keep that started so I remember in case you just in case you explain it. Poet, tell Goldie she's beautiful. Is Goldie here? I haven't seen her. She's probably sleeping. I'm sure she was up late last night. But yeah, we love Goldie. Candy's Life. I have Liz Gale's book and Mark Headley's book. Yeah, Mark's is great too. Uh, so far, and both are amazing. Yeah, they are. They really are. Yeah, I like Mike's, or well, of course, Mike's book. I don't actually have an actual copy of Mike's book, but I've listened to him read it on Audible, and I do. I've listened to Mark's book a couple times because he read his book as well. I do have a signed copy of Bone for Good, but I haven't actually like read it with my eyes. But I'm reading Liz's with my eyes. I'm on like chapter 9, I think. So yes. From a Poet. I subscribe to your channel. Yes, I think is it at From a Poet? From a Poet? Yes, everyone subscribe to his channel. You won't be disappointed. I love his poetry. And he just got a new poem, um, Mining, I think it was called. He had me read it over a stream one day. It was awesome. And he just got that published. So um no, I've seen her on Poets Community page. Right. Another reason, yet another reason to visit From a Poet, his uh his channel on the community page. He posts Goldie gave him permission to post some pictures of the little adopted kitties. And some of them have like little bottles and yeah. And it's funny, one day we were asking on a Sunday, because I do my Fun Day Sunday thing, asking what people do for relaxation or creativity or just something as an outlet, to relax or just make you feel good, a craft or a pastime, hobby. And I think was it you said, Joel, you said you pet kitties for relaxation, and Goldie said she adopts kitties. Yes. The kitties are super cute. They are. I wish I could have some, but there's allergies in my house, so I have Poms instead, which yeah, I guess they're not as allergic. I don't know. Carla, hi, Carla. Yeah, Goldie was up late last night till about 11:30 PM on the West Coast. Whoa. So Goldie's in my time zone, so that would be like 2:30. Oh, no wonder why we haven't seen her yet today. Yeah. Joel, I have to take my exit for now. Bye, Joel. May you all have the best day of your life. Be kind to each other. We will, Joel. Thank you. Thanks for popping in. So great to see you. Really happy to see everyone. Duchess Diana, I saw those behavior experiments on TV with people. Fascinating. I would not have believed it. I know. Girl standing up with everyone in waiting room when bell rang. Wow. Yeah. It's that kind of peer pressure thing too. It's like, well, everybody else is doing it. Yep. Like the old parent thing. Oh, sorry. Like, oh, if all your friends are jumping off the Brooklyn Bridge, does that mean you're going to too? Yep. Oh, atypical Paul. I have 4 dogs, 1 cat, 1 fish, 2 snails, a gecko, and a partridge in a pear tree. Oh, that was terrible. But yeah, nothing wrong with that. We do have an outside bunny. We bring in a little, my daughter's bunny. I'm trying to remember its name. It was sort of like a little bit wild, but Duncan loves her and feeds her and will pet her and stuff. But yeah, she's not really an inside animal. We've had her forever. She's got to be 10 years old. Yeah. She's tough, very tough. Candy's life. Only if I can be the friend that goes first. Oh boy. Oh, thank you, Diana. Yeah, my kids are just like, Mom, do you have to my my youngest son, he's so funny. Like he, he said this isn't true, but he jokes around with me all the time. And he's like, you know why I stopped eating Oreos? He said he stopped eating Oreos and drinking Coca-Cola because he started going to the gym and he wanted to be, buff and tough. And but he said it was because every time he ate Oreos, I would sing the Oreo commercial because I love like because I have so many gaps in my, pop culture knowledge or anything, any kind of media knowledge that I still remember commercials from the 70s, like, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together with a classic combination. When a dark, delicious cookie meets an icy cold sensation like the one and only creamy country chocolate Oreo, keeps your milk from getting lonely. So he didn't want to hear that every time he ate Oreo. So he said he quit eating Oreos. Yep. Yep. And then he didn't want me singing I like to buy the world of Coke and keep it company. But my poor kids, I torture them. Candy's life. That's what I used to say to my grandmother when she said that to me, Marilyn. She did not see the humor. Glad you. Oh yeah. Well, my kids have definitely worn me down. Sometimes I swear, like I'm telling you, my little one, he's 21 now, almost 22, but he would just try to get a rise out of me, you know? And he would just say the most ridiculous things like, singing like a dirty song or something. I would start instead of being like, "Oh, Carter, I can't believe you're saying that." I would just start singing it with him and it would just take all the fun out of it. And he'd just be like, "Well, that's not fun." And he's like, "Mom, why are you sing? Oh, mom, I can't believe you're singing something so dirty." I'm like, "Well, you are," you know? Or it's so funny, like I've learned some things since I've been on YouTube, and I'm just like, "What does this word mean?" I'll, like, send them just a random message because we have this family, chat thing, on Messenger, and I'll be like, "Hey, guys, what does this mean?" They're like, "Where did you hear that, mom?" And I'm like, "On the internet." And they're like, "Stay off the internet, mom." I'm like, "Well, how come you guys know what it means?" But, yeah, I don't know how I got on that whole that whole thing, but that's my kids. I feel a sponsorship coming on Maryland and Oreos. You know what? I don't even really like Oreos. I mean, not that I don't, but I don't crave them. Like, I wouldn't like go out and buy Oreos. But I mean, if there was one sitting there and there was like a glass of milk and I was hungry or I had like a nice cup of coffee, I might eat one. But I am a savory girl. Like, give me like some garlic bread or something, you know? Yeah. I don't know if there's any like good garlic bread sponsors out there or coffee. I do like coffee. Or it's Kleenex. I need some Kleenex too. I don't know if you heard that, Liz, but the buy me a coffee thing. My husband said I need to make a buy me a Kleenex. I don't think that exists, but they have a buy me a beer. Yeah, that's just Diana. I was seeing commercials to my students. Yeah. I kind of doubt that's going to get me demonetized. Every time I break out into these goofy little jingles and songs and fake karaoke stuff, someone I can't remember who it is was like the same person every time. Like, and you're demonetized, and I'm like, I don't think so. I sing off key. I doubt it, but maybe we'll see. It was worth it though. It's like girls just want to have fun. Just want to have fun. Betsy Sue, hi sweetheart. Thank you for the super chat. Oh my god, I don't even know myself. Like, thank you so much. Good morning. Just saying hi between classes. Good for you. I'm so proud of you. Have a great day. Awesome. I love that when people pop in. Um, Candy's life. That may have been because she actually caught me jumping off a bridge once. Okay, twice. I won $100 on that bet. Well, I hope you didn't get hurt. So that was your grandma, huh? She yeah, that's because you got to jump first. Well, As long as you didn't get hurt, you got $100. Oh, Liz Gale. It's perfect. Maryland tissues. Tissues for my issues. Every box comes with a mom hug. I'll take 1,000,000 boxes. Aw, you're so sweet. Yes. How about 1,000,000,000? 1,000,000,000 hugs, one for each year that people sign up for this. Sign up for 1,000,000,000 hugs instead of 1,000,000,000 years, right? Yeah. Yeah, someone messaged me the other day and said, because this merch thing keeps coming up. I keep talking about it, but I haven't done anything about it. I'm just lazy. And I don't even know how I feel about it. It'd just be kind of fun or something, but I don't even expect to sell anything. I just think it'd be fun to think of things. But Kelly made something that says like crochet is cool for me, so I got to get that going. But someone had the idea of doing, because I love mugs. I love things like mugs with sayings, or like this is a nice pottery mug that I really love. It's just got very unique, markings on it. But I just love mugs. I might line some up behind me just for the heck of it. But having something with like a mama bear and a baby bear, because that's kind of a theme in my life. I like mama bears. So what do you guys think? You guys have any ideas? I'm just looking. Oh, did I miss Duchess Diana? Listen, I came to shore to US after being away for a long time and plugged TV into the moment where they drove the tank into the building. Oh, on every channel, mind blowing. That was talking about Waco. Yeah. That recent documentary, I never really understood what happened, honestly, because you hear bits and pieces, but they did a good job of kind of having so many different viewpoints, but also kind of organized it into the chronological order of what happened. But yeah, that was crazy, and I think that's definitely why the government is so reluctant to deal with Scientology. One of the reasons, anyways. Aurora, I love animals, but I'm so allergic. I visit other people's pets and sit with a neighborhood kitty on the porch. Nice. I know. I wish I could have a kitty, but I got my 2 puppies. They were funny last night. I usually put little Rocky in. We got like this big. It's like a playpen. I mean, he could run back and forth. It's pretty big, and it's got like a little pee pee pad on one end, and his food and water, and 2 beds, because sometimes Apollo wants to jump in, but the beds are too small. But he just still lays across it. And I used to have like a really big bed in there because he'd want to lay with him. And it was nice because when we first got Rocky, then he had Apollo, so he wasn't crying for his mom. Oh, that was just for when we got Apollo, that was just the saddest thing. But yeah, so he, never cried. He never felt super lonely because he had Apollo. Well, now we've got these 2 big. Oh, you got one?
Yeah, I heard
you were talking about him.
Apollo.
Oh,
Taking
Rocky.
a little break from my project.
Thank you.
Little Rocky
Got
break.
Here's my emotional support animal. Oh, and by the way, Duncan is a TV star now. He's going to be on Poe and the Go tonight. And should I tell them what you did? So instead of, I have, I have all this kind of set up, and Duncan has a nice big office, like size, probably twice the size of mine, but he doesn't have all this equipment. So I said, well, you can, just set up in here. Oh, last night he's brought his power tools in. You still got him in here? He has power tools in, and he's like hanging like brackets from this. He's gonna move my stuff over because he's gonna move the table over because I got yarn behind. So tune in tonight, just even for a minute, into Poe on the Go and see what Duncan does with my space, because he's gonna turn it into a man cave for car talk, and I'm getting out of here because I'm going to open mic with my kids. But I will tune in and heckle you, honey.
I'm sure you will.
So he's got to make it manly.
Make it even. Little Rocky.
You say hi? You say hi?
Hey.
Is that Daddy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Clearwater Chad. It's funny how I mentioned something and all of a sudden all the lurkers come out.
He's been hiding back there
Yeah.
monitoring, right?
Yeah, Clearwater Chad, Poe, and honey, you getting them all hyper.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I can
I'm
take
trying
them
to.
away if you want.
No. You say hi to everybody. You're distracting him from his cuteness. Oh, he won't look at the camera.
Oh.
He was being shy yesterday too.
He's cute.
Oh, here we go. Duchess Diana Duncan, you're the best. I'm in Mass. If you have a single friend, he has a single brother. He's not bad looking. Actually, he is. He's all right. I mean, I can't be like, who's it? But he talks a lot. Duncan's like, what? Come on, you know he talks a lot. So yeah, if you don't mind somebody who talks a lot, he's a really nice guy. Very eligible. But he talks a lot. Okay, I talk a lot too, but I mean a lot. Oh, everybody's sending. Oh, it's all Chad. Oh wait, no, I don't want to put you in timeout, Chad. I was trying to click on your. All right, he's eating my sweatshirt, honey.
You want me to take him away? I just
Wait,
have to
let
stop
me
in.
just
I'm
say
working
bye,
on
everybody.
laying under
Bye.
the car project. So
All right,
I'm
honey.
almost done though. I'm making progress.
Okay,
Hello,
I'm
Rockers.
almost done.
All right, have fun, y'all.
Oh, what are you stepping on? Oh, I had a water bottle because Paulo likes to play with water bottles. Like when I'm done, sometimes I'll crunch it up and let him bat it around a little bit. Oh, talking is okay. I talk a lot. Okay. If you don't mind him talking about sheetrock, car parts, what is that? Other subjects. Pretty much guy stuff. Yeah. Bye, Duncan and Puppy. I hope my brother-in-law doesn't see this. He's not going to sit still enough to listen to an hour and 40 minutes into my stream. Yeah. Sweetest little doggy. Thank you. That's Rocky. We have Apollo. And Apollo is 8 months now. He was born in January, so he's almost 9 months at the end of January. And Rocky was born on the 4th of July, so he's about 10 weeks now. Yeah, they're precious. They're precious. My dog can take up my whole bed. She might give me a sliver. I would love another. Yeah, I started to say last night, I usually put Rocky at night because I don't want him to have any piddle accidents or anything while we're sleeping. I put him in the pen with all the beds and the food and all, his pee-pee pad. And so last night I went to put him in and I'd been, watching SPTV and working on some things. And I came and he was in Apollo's bed, big bed, out in the living room with Apollo. I had a really cute picture. If you're on Facebook, I think it's public, probably you can look me up, and I sent a picture of it. I'll probably put it on the Coffee Cults and Crafts group too. So if you are on Facebook, there's a group called Coffee Cults and Crafts, like my channel. Actually, I made that before my channel. So yes, I call it sheetrock talk. So both Betsy Sue talking about sheetrock. No, I'm not lying. So if we go out to dinner, we go out somewhere with the family and like my boys are playing or something, I have to make sure I don't sit between my husband and his brother because it'll be all sheetrock all the time. I mean, they talk about other topics too, like cars, car parts. Yeah. All right. So speaking of talking a lot, I should let everyone resume your day. Thanks for hanging out with me. This is great. I love spending time with you guys. Not super sure about tomorrow morning. I'll have to see because I have a board meeting later in the day. I got to make sure I have all my ducks in a row, but I will definitely try to check in with you Friday morning, if not tomorrow morning. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, have a great day, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.